Hello fellow video game collectors, and welcome to another pickups video. So the first bunch of games I'm going to show you today came from my local video game store, Edward McKay's. The first game that I got was Dawn of Mana for $19. I'm a huge fan of the Mana series. I've played and beaten Secret of Mana a number of times over the years, as well as Legend of Mana. I actually had no idea that there was a PlayStation 2 Mana game. So Dawn of Mana takes this action RPG series into 3D for the very first time, but this one is quite a bit different than Secret of Mana. There are no equipment items or even towns for you to visit. You don't actually level up in the game. Instead, you have these physical magical attributes that you can level up, and you level these up by getting coins and medals from enemies that you kill in the game. However, you lose all of your progress on those attributes when you go to a new chapter, meaning that you have to re-level up all those attributes all over again. Overall, the game is supposed to have a pretty decent story, but it's weighed down by some of the pretty lackluster gameplay features, so don't expect a traditional Mana game from Dawn of Mana. The next game I got for $25 was Mega Man Anniversary Collection. So if you're looking for a collection of Mega Man games, then look no further, because this is the best collection for you. The collection includes the NES games of Mega Man 1 through 6, the Super Nintendo game of Mega Man 7, and the PlayStation 1 game of Mega Man 8, as well as a couple of arcade games that were never released here before, Mega Man The Power Battle and Mega Man 2 The Power Fighters. Also be aware that there is also a Mega Man X collection available as well, if you're looking for another Mega Man collection to get a hold of, so you can get the vast majority of the games between this collection and that one. I have not yet found a copy of Mega Man X collection, but if you're wanting a modern or portable port of the Mega Man games, then there's also the Mega Man Legacy collection for the 3DS, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. But unfortunately, this version, it only has the first 6 Mega Man games. Then the next game I got for $6 is Frogger 2. My fiance is a huge fan of the original Frogger game, so she had me pick up this one. So Frogger 2, it's a direct sequel to the original Frogger game, and by that I mean the PlayStation 1 version, not the original arcade classic. It plays pretty much the same as the first game, where you are hopping through levels trying to collect 5 frogs, which is a similar thing from the classical arcade game, while you're also trying to avoid all of the enemies. The level design in this one is a lot more linear than the first game. There's no backtracking to find any of the frogs. So if you like this first game, then you would probably like this one as well. Then for $23, I got a copy of 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors. So I showed in a recent pickups video that I got a copy of Zero Escape Virtue's Last Reward. Well, this is the prequel to that game, and it's only currently available for the DS and mobile devices, iOS and I think maybe Android. Although it was recently announced that it's going to get ported to new systems soon, although we don't know what systems that will be, they haven't said yet. So this game, it's a visual novel game, kind of like a point-and-click adventure game with a lot of different puzzles for you to complete. As a warning, be prepared to do a lot of reading in this game. The game is split into 2 sections, a novel section, where you will be doing a lot of talking with other characters in the game and making decisions that will affect the ending that you will get for the game. Then your character will get stuck in a room, and you will have to escape that room in the escape section of the game, and this is where all of the puzzle solving comes into play. Now that I have this game, I'm really looking forward to getting to start this series. I've heard a lot of good things about it, and I'm just really excited to get to play it. Then for $19, I got a copy of Rune Factory 2. So earlier this year, I got a copy of Rune Factory 4, and I absolutely loved it. I haven't beat it yet, but it's just a lot of fun to play. And because of such a positive experience that I had with Rune Factory 4, I decided to go ahead and pick up the second one of the series since I saw it there. So the Rune Factory series is a nice mix between a game like Harvest Moon where you are farming and tending to crops and managing relationships with other people in the town, and an action RPG like Secret of Mana, where you are progressing a story and fighting against monsters and bosses and diving into dungeons. So the series is actually a spin-off of the Harvest Moon games. So if you like Harvest Moon and you want to be able to do some adventuring as well, then be sure to pick up any of the Rune Factory games, as you absolutely will not regret it. Then for $13, I got a copy of Mario & Luigi Bowser's Inside Story. So this is the third title in the Mario & Luigi RPG series, a series that I've never played before aside of a little bit of the most recent title, Mario & Luigi Paper Jam. Usually the Mario & Luigi games have you controlling both Mario and Luigi at the same time, but this one also lets you control and play as Bowser as well. So like the rest of the series, you wander around levels and you encounter enemies in a turn-based battle system, and you don't just simply choose attacks in battle, but you must be able to time them by pushing the button at the right moment for maximum effectiveness. So overall, it's a fantastic Mario and Luigi RPG, so definitely pick it up if you're looking for a fun, lighthearted RPG to play. So then I ordered a few things from Amazon, and the first thing I got from Amazon was Metroid Prime Federation Force for $27. So I actually pre-ordered this game despite it not getting a lot of great reviews. I haven't played very far into it, just the first few levels, but here's my 2 cents. So if you were expecting a great Metroid sequel, then don't bother with it. Other than the theme of the game and a few other minor points, it really doesn't have anything to do with the Metroid series, and it's just a completely skippable entry in the series. But if you're looking for a decent first-person shooter for your 3DS, then maybe look at it. Because in all honesty, I cannot think of another first-person shooter for the 3DS. I'm not even sure if there is one, so let me know in the comments below if you can think of another first-person shooter for the 3DS. I do know that there's some titles for the DS, like GoldenEye. Now, with that said, I actually really like the controls of the game for it being a handheld first-person shooter, but only if you have a new 3DS, which is what I played it on, with the C-Stick, because you absolutely need the C-Stick to aim your camera around. Or maybe if you have the Circle Pad Pro add-on if you have an older 3DS. So this game, it was very obviously designed for multiplayer. You can definitely play through it by yourself, but it's way more enjoyable if you play it with someone else. And there's also this other online game called Blast Ball, which is a version of 3-on-3 soccer, sort of like Rocket League, but instead it's just Metroid themed, and it's okay. So overall, I think the game is okay. It's not great, it'll not blow your mind away or anything, but I do think it's kind of worth checking out if you want a decent first-person shooter to play on your 3DS. Then I decided to snag some recently re-released Nintendo games as the Nintendo Select series. So I pre-ordered these. The first one that I got was Tomodachi Life for the 3DS for $16. So this is a life sim game. It's kind of like Animal Crossing, but instead of animals, you're using your Miis. It's a very open-ended game. You just do whatever you want as you're trying to grow your community of your Miis. The game doesn't really punish you or nag you for not visiting it or playing it every day. So, you just pick it up and, play it. Just do whatever you want whenever you're in the mood for it. It's a pretty bizarre little game, but if you like life sims, then it's probably worth looking at. Then the next Nintendo Selects I got was Lego City Underground for the Wii U, also for $16. So this is the first original Lego game that isn't based on a popular franchise like Marvel or Star Wars, Harry Potter. And additionally, it's an exclusive for the Wii U, and instead it is based on a lot of different references from Cop and Mobster and those kind of movies. It's a very large open world game, sort of like Grand Theft Auto, but obviously Lego themed. On the downside, the game suffers from a lot of long loading screens. There's also no co-op because it has extensive use of the Wii U gamepad. Overall though, it's supposed to be a really solid game. If you're a fan of the LEGO series, then you should definitely get it. And then we have the companion game for the 3DS, LEGO City Underground: The Chase Begins, which I also paid $16 for. So this is actually a prequel to the Wii U version, and it's considered to be a separate game. It's not a direct port or anything like that. It's still based on the same open world, but it's split into bite-sized mission chunks. However, you'll often see performance issues with it. It has that draw distance fog because you can't render the vastness of the world. And again, it has those long loading screens. So this game, it doesn't quite stand up to the Wii U version due to those issues. Just due to the issues of transitioning this game into a handheld format. So you may really just want to pass on this unless you're just really a fan of LEGO games. So then the last Nintendo Selects game that I got for $16 was a copy of Nintendogs Cats. So first and foremost, don't let the title confuse you. This game is really only about dogs. There are cats in the game, but they're just kind of like accessories to the dogs. They're not involved in the main part of the game the same way as the dogs are. But this is a pretty cute title, a lot like the previous version if you are familiar with that on the DS. With that said, there's not a lot of new things if you've played the DS title before. It's really just more of the same. And, you know, there's no real story or plot to this game. It's just a pick it up and play it kind of game. You know, if you want to, you know, play with some puppies, then pop this in. So if you want to play with a virtual pet on the go, then this game is for you. And then for a mere $4, I got this hardback copy of the Star Fox Zero Collector's Edition. So I guess since this game was doing so poorly, Amazon decided to liquidate their stock of this game guide. And I got it for just very, very cheap before it went out of stock. I had price alerts on it and it just was plummeting, and I finally got it once it hit $4. Maybe it'll help me get good. And then I got a crap ton of Amiibos from a couple of different stores. These weren't all just really recently or anything, it's just over the past couple of months or so. And so the first set I got from was Best Buy, and all of these I got the 20% off because of the Gamers Club Unlocked discount. So the first one I got of that was Bowser, the Super Mario version, for $8. And then I got Dark Pit for $10. And Dark Pit was recently re-released only at Best Buy. And then I also got Sonic for $10, as well as Pit for $10, and Samus for $10. And I've actually been looking for her for a while. She's been a little bit harder to find, but they just recently reprinted her as well. And here's another reprint that I've been looking for. It's the Gold Edition of Mario, as well as Lucina, also for $10. Then Target was having a 25% off sale, so I got a few more Amiibos from there. I got Mario for $10, Yoshi for $7, this is the Super Mario version, and the Super Mario version of Luigi for $10, as well as the Super Smash Bros. Version of Luigi for $8. And that's all the pickups I've got to share with you today. If you enjoyed this video, then be sure to give it a thumbs up, as it always helps me out. If you have anything that you want to say about any of the games that I mentioned today, then be sure to leave a comment down below. And if you're new to the channel, then be sure to subscribe. And remember, you gotta get the power up to beat the game.